The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is Max Bendich, my dad. Hey, Pop. How are you?
How are you, Alan, my son? It's good to see you.
It's always good to see you. So I was, before the show, I was noticing, when we walked into the studio, you looked a little tired. You looked a little bit, but then all of a sudden, as soon as the lights went on and the cameras went on, you just started beaming. And it just reminded me of something that happened in Hollywood probably around 1984, only 30 years ago, okay? I think it was 1984. It might have been 1985, but it might have been 84. I was in a movie called Nothing in Common, and it starred Jackie Gleason. And Jackie Gleason had been sick at that time. And he was actually, it might have been one of the last movies that he ever made. And he walked in a set, and I'm telling you, his wife had to help him. His wife, Dorothy, was on the set. Dorothy. I think that was her name. And she was by his side and all this. But as soon as they said action, it was like there was nothing wrong with him. He had all this energy. He was like unbelievable. Like the adrenaline was rushing, and he was like alive. When they said cut, he just fell back in, and it was like the air got out of the balloon. So I was just amazed, though. Not that you're not having those issues, but you walked in, you looked tired, and now look at you. I mean, you're beaming. Your cheeks are red. You're having a good time.
Alan, in my whole life, first of all, who expected a thing like this? Never, Alan. Right. To have a new career about the last few years.
Right.
An actor at 96 or 7.
No, you started in 97. You did.
At 97?
Right.
No one, as far as I know, I'm in Cathay House.
Right.
They all think I'm kidding, and yet we made a little movie called...
it was called...
either Love Story...
No, it's not.
Or it was called Waltzing Through Life.
Right. No, it was called... There was another story. It was called something else.
And,
right.
and whatever it was,
right.
Here I am doing it, and scared.
Right.
I'm going to goof up. I'm going to do this wrong.
But you did great, and it was a wonderful story, and it just follows a couple from beginning to end, and
yes.
That was the whole thing.
And Alan, that's what happened. We started off,
I know.
And in 1912, when my folks came in,
right.
I was born 1915, and now it's 24. And yet, when you write that, when were you born? 3/25/15. Oh, that's tomorrow, 3/25/15.
Next year, right? That's it.
I said, you forget the 19, or we forgot the 20.
So it's hard to believe. I mean, you're like a half a year away, right? I mean, it's
a half a year away.
Isn't that amazing?
Again, now it's as soon as it's the end of August, right. We're starting September. It'll be 99 and a half years.
Unbelievable.
Again, when you think about but when you think, you forgot a lot of things. Alan, you forget. And what is good about it, that there's a family. We have a wonderful, Alan, we have, compared to what I see in Cathay.
You have to introduce me to them. So I don't know who you're talking
Alan,
about.
Keep on talking. Alan, is it luck? Oh,
yeah.
I always told you this about three or 10 times.
Right.
And I'm the luckiest man in the world. I'm the luckiest. And again, I started off I got a second chance.
Right.
Well, I don't care if we had it before. That Mom walked into my little club. We danced, and I said goodbye to her.
Right.
To another girl.
Right.
Never to see her again, or maybe yes. And 2 or 3 weeks later, she comes back, and I'm dancing with her.
Right.
What I said, I don't know. And yet, my friend said, you never danced, and she was going to be my wife. The first time she walked away, she was going to be my wife anyway, because she
right.
came back. Life is good, Alan.
I know, life is good, and life continues to be good. Things are good with Aaron and Kara. Aaron's school, I guess he starts in the next couple of weeks, and one of his roommates is Tommy Smothers' son, which is interesting, from the Smothers brothers. So I'm excited about that for Aaron, but I love his other roommates. I love all the kids that Aaron's with. He has a nice group. He always had a nice group of people that he had his friends. Same thing with Kara. Kara starts senior year of high school this year. And Kara's my daughter, and your granddaughter.
were there, and he has that positive look in his face.
I know.
There was, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm forgetting, I never saw him with a worried look in his face.
But you know what? You know what it is, Dad? You are. I guess. I mean, I'm sure. I know he has worries, but when he's with you, he has no worries. He even says, like, you're the person he feels the safest and closest to. He loves you. He loves you, Pop.
I realize it, and if I forget,
Yeah.
I told you I have pictures,
Right.
and I have pictures from him from the day he was born. Or thing.
You were there.
You know, and I sang off on Pripyat.
Absolutely, and you did the same thing to Kara, and to me.
But I mean, to every
grandchild and great
child.
grandchild and great grandchild.
And what was my reason? I jokingly said, and I said, these are the first words that you're ever going to hear.
Right.
They are in Yiddish.
Right.
And I don't know if you'll ever hear another
You have to hear it again, right?
But you're going to hear a Yiddish word.
Yeah.
And everyone, I made it.
I know.
And Alan, why I did it, I don't know.
Right.
And
But I'll never forget when Mommy picked up Aaron for the first time. She was afraid that she was going to break him. It was like one of the nicest things. You know, Mom was all arthritic and all this, but it was like what a feeling of watching her with my son. It was like incredible.
Maybe we should even talk about something. Maybe I don't remember Mom actually being like we say. I knew something.
Well, she had arthritis in her hands.
Oh.
And you do, and guess what?
Right.
I hate to say it. You know,
No,
at 59, I'm beginning to get a little
look.
touch of it too.
Well, I don't know.
But hers were. I mean, her knuckles were.
Actually, I didn't know
And
that.
she had a lot of pain. It didn't stop her from cleaning the house or making food or anything like that. But she had arthritic knees. She was bent over a little bit because of her back. She had issues.
See, here we're talking now about. But Alan, when we started when we talked about traveling,
Yeah.
I thought, who? Now,
I know. Yeah, you talked about that.
Who traveled? I never stopped
I know,
traveling.
Mom, yeah.
Alan, I never stopped traveling because of you.
Right.
We went to places eventually to come to visit you in California.
Right. Yes.
And then on the way, we stopped off. My brother was there in Arizona, and went from my brother up to Las Vegas.
I know.
And from Las Vegas.
Those were the days, Pop. Those were the days. But these are the days too. I mean, you know, in those days, I guess, like even the thought of Hollywood, when you used to, I mean, who remembers what you thought Hollywood was? But Hollywood was just something that was like a dream, not even a dream, like something that was, a guy from the Bronx is going to go to Hollywood?
It was a dream. Alan, you had the right thing. It was a dream. And when we first came over here, and eventually I was on my own. Before Mom would stay in the house, and because I was with Mom when we came to see you.
Right.
And I used to walk along Hollywood Boulevard. And I would say to myself, and where you worked in...
At the Hollywood Palace.
The Hollywood Palace. The Hollywood Palace, and where was it? On Hollywood and Vine.
Yeah.
There was no better address. It's the same thing when we went near Berkeley.
Yeah.
There was.
The peace sign. And, I mean,
No,
we had a
no,
demonstration.
the street.
Oh, Haight-Ashbury. That was in San Francisco.
I never knew
In San
until I
Francisco.
came to.
You didn't realize that was across.
All of a sudden, I saw Haight
and Ashbury.
and two streets, and because of two streets, there came a life for two streets.
It was San Francisco was a nice place to live. I mean, I loved San Francisco, and I had the greatest time. That was really that in Oakland were the first spots that I actually. But you know, something interesting. Not that it would mean anything, but I'm going to say it anyway because I want to have it on TV. I used to know this woman by the name of Sheila Escovedo. Now, who's Sheila Escovedo? She later became known as Sheila E. I knew her through Jonathan, our cousin, Jonathan Bendich. He and her used to be percussionists for different artists musical artists in California. So I'm on her like mailing list, and you know, I got this email about that she wrote her memoirs, and I knew her. You know, I used to hang out with her when they went up and down the coast of California, performing in different clubs with Jonathan. You know, and this is before she made it big. But it turns out, like, you find out things that I wish I had known then. Yeah, like she went out with Carlos Santana, which was like one of the best guitarists in the that has ever been. And she almost married Prince. All these things about the memoirs, and that there's this woman by the name of Nicole Richie, who's like she's like some sort of like what's it called? You know, she's on reality TV. That's the word I was looking for. But it turns out that Nicole Richie is the niece of Sheila Escovedo. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's all these things in California were happening. I was with people who, you know, either were unbelievably famous. I didn't even realize it. I didn't know who they were, and these were just people I used to just hang out with. It was crazy.
And with me, just the opposite. I'd be walking near a supermarket, and here comes a man, and I said, my God, he's the actor. And another place, I'm behind him, and again.
In the supermarket, you see him over there.
You see them in a different supermarket, I'm behind somebody. Oh,
it was funny.
Here I'm looking at I didn't even know. They were pushing me from the back. Come on, walk.
And you remember you worked on Cagney and Lacey. And I remember when Wendy and I and Aaron and Karen, the whole family went to California on vacation. You weren't there then. This was a separate vacation. And we decided to go to the Mayfair Market, which was the supermarket that was right down from where I lived on Franklin.
Yes.
And I said, I used to go to the Mayfair Market. I'd see Michael Constantine, I guess his name was, and there were always actors coming in and out of that place. So I said, maybe we'll see someone. I walk in there. There's a guy from Cagney and Lacey on the show, a guy named Michael Fairman, an unbelievable actor, a guy who I knew, who was from the Bronx, and I used to have conversations with him. And it's 30 years later, I'm introducing him to the family. He has no idea who I am, but I was able to recall, because he had told me one thing. He told me his son had gone to high school in the Bronx. And I said, did he go to the Bronx High School of Science? He said, how'd you know? I said, because there's not another high school that any person would mention that they wouldn't brag about their son going to high school in the Bronx. But from that, and I reminded him of that conversation, and it was, he didn't remember the conversation, but he knew that I knew him, that his son had gone to the Bronx High School of Science. But it was wonderful. It was just a wonderful experience, and it was nice to know that at the Mayfair Market you could still run into a star.
I think that was the name of the market, and I'm remembering. Yeah. Alan, again, I forget. I'm sorry.
Now, you used to stay at my place, and the Mayfair Market was right down the block.
Right down the block.
And you know who used to go there a lot? Adam Arkin, Alan Arkin's, his son, Adam Arkin. And I mean, all these different actors
they're normal people. That's all. They're people, and they're workers.
Right.
What kind of job have you got? I'm an actor. And that's a job that he...
And I remember there used to be another Jack Klugman show was called Quincy. And there was a guy who owned a restaurant on that show, played a restaurant owner on the show. His name was Val Bisaglia. And he was a neighbor of mine. And it was like, I couldn't believe, here I am in Hollywood, and, people that you see on TV are your neighbors, and they're just a regular nice guy. He was also in like Saturday Night Fever. He played John Travolta's father. And he just lived in an apartment building next to where I lived, and it was, I couldn't understand. To me, it was, the other thing is that even with these people who had parts, I don't think they were that rich. I mean, they were making money, but they were living in apartment houses.
That's right.
So that was one of the things I realized, that even if you have a reasonably steady job on some of these shows, you're not going to be that rich, You have to really be up a little bit on the food chain. But he was a nice guy.
But look, you were there. You had experience.
You were there too.
I know it, right? You had. Look at the difference. You were there. You had the experience. You saw everything. Now, when I used to be there, again, and then when I started out doing work with you, and when I was there, I was one of the people. I was going around with every.
No one knew that you were there for just on vacation. They just thought you were one of the guys working on a television, on a movie show.
And when I was with you, frightened. I was, Alan, there was but again, that's history.
I know.
Now,
But that's good history, because I don't know if we'd be doing this. I mean, obviously, as Aaron says, if you make a left instead of a right, your whole life changes, you know? So, and that's Aaron's philosophy.
all right. That's my philosophy. Yeah.
So the issue is, you know, if we didn't have Hollywood, we probably wouldn't have this show.
All right.
You know?
And maybe, I mean, because you're the one who made it, who got me to pay pop. You want?
I said, you know, what the, you know, and I said, and I was kicking myself, because we could have started the show like 10 years earlier, and then we would have had Mom on the show, and
I always think, not thinking about 10 years earlier, but every now and then, Alan, I think about Mom doing things with me, and normally it's with the family.
right.
Finding, and we're getting every now and then another child, another grandchild, great-grandchild.
I know.
And
Well,
then-
I'll never forget Mom's face when Aaron and Kara would come to visit, and you know, that's it. That was the face. She would be, her face would just light up, and even though she couldn't walk around that well, no one was lighter than air than like Mom. I mean, she was floating, you know, and it was rough, you know.
And I bet, even though I don't drink in, and I bet at that moment, at those moments, life was good.
Oh, life was better than good. It was good for the kids, and it was good for Mom. And it was good for me, because I knew if nothing else in life, I did something good. You know, I made my mother happy, you know. And,
Maybe I'm the one who was supposed to say that, because it starts with, well, my parents.
Right.
But
but
whatever they
it's
did.
a continuum. That's
Whatever,
it.
continual,
Yeah.
and it's going to keep on continuing.
That's it.
And
that's life, right?
And we see it happening with Aaron and Kara. They're the next person.
And you should see how Aaron, you know, he wasn't like this always, but he's eating really well. I mean, he's like a vegan almost. I mean, he's decided to become healthy. And when he was a kid, he used to eat McDonald's and all this stuff.
I don't remember. I don't remember the eating habits.
No, but I mean, he's really becoming a mensch. You know, he is a mensch. He is a mensch.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he has help from you, which is
And
the
you.
family. Well, again, I'm part of the family, but it's a continuing of your family,
Right.
which in the end, it's continuing of my family.
Right.
Now I'm the only one left, and Mom, it was either Mom or I.
Right.
We were going to die first,
Right.
and
Right, that's the way it goes.
and that's the way it goes.
Right.
And
But you're still around.
And now we're talking about a new kind of a work that is being done.
That's it.
And
And it makes it interesting, right? And that's the whole thing. Life is interesting. The new experiences are interesting, right?
I never expected it,
Right.
but I never knew about it. We lived right near Columbia University.
Right, all the places that you auditioned.
Everyone had these acting studios.
But the other thing is, with all these different schools, there's so many film majors, you know, so everyone's making a film. So there has to be opportunities for almost anyone who wants to become an actor to be an actor, you know.
And I noticed that. Alan, I noticed, like you said, they were all young. They were all part of the university. Each one is doing something else. And the funny thing, when I spoke to somebody, they didn't throw me away. They heard me talking. Oh, I think you should speak to that one over there. And they help each other out. Right. And they wish they're the ones that are going to be chosen.
Right.
And
it's tough. It's a tough business, because you have to have a thick skin. That's one thing. Because you have to be able to deal with rejection, which is...
Alan, see, I'm telling you, those are words I don't even think about. Right. But when I tell you that I trembled, the word is rejection. Alan,
right.
I thought, here you're talking to me, and you're building me up,
right.
and I'm frightened. But I settled down, right. And after that, no rejection at all.
The interesting thing, I mean, even when we were shooting Scriptless on Sunday, not you, because we had the other location.
Yeah.
We shot it in my office. We're moving from Park Avenue South now to Tribeca, which
Right.
is on Saturday. So this Saturday. So the last time we could shoot, and we had a continuation scene that we had to shoot in my office because we used that office for something that needed a continuation. It couldn't have ended the way it ended. So we had to shoot last Sunday. And there was some stress on the set and all this. So I just remember like deep breathing exercises to relax. So I had all these guys playing who are like mobsters, breathing in through their nose and breathing out through their mouth. And it was the funniest thing because all these guys, look like, they got tattoos, they look like bruises. And they were going like yoga exercises of breathing in and out. And they were all relaxing. And they even thanked me for that technique. And that's something I forgot about, about way to relax, but also there's other ways to pump yourself up. So we were doing that on the set. So maybe next time you're feeling a little bit stressed, but I'm scared if I do those deep, if you do that, you'll probably fall asleep, Pop. You'll get so relaxed.
And then you were right. Don't be scared. If I can fall asleep after that,
Then it's good. Then you're relaxed.
I'm relaxed.
That's it.
I'm relaxed. Yeah.
So, let me tell you some of the names of the episodes that we did. We did The Prodigal Son.
Right.
Because of you. We did Life is Good because of you. We did Priorities because of you. So basically, all the shows, I try to put, some of them weren't. The Sit Down was another situation. And Changes was Phil Oakes. I always have some interesting name for these episodes that no one understands, and that's okay. But I'm enjoying it. It's a nice pastime. It's a nice hobby. This is a nice hobby.
And even though maybe when do you think it will be over? This.
What, the way to go?
Yes. No, not the way to go. Scriptless.
I don't know. Again.
In other words, it's going and it's going and it's going.
Well, there's no end to it.
There's no end to it.
But I'm thinking though, there might be, and I want to put it together like a nice theatrical pilot, so I could show it to other people, maybe bring it to film festivals or something. But scriptless itself, I don't see an end to. Maybe the storyline, the current storyline, there might be an end. But that doesn't mean that I could take the same actors together and create a different story. So, and that's something that actually Wendy was suggesting.
Another thing, again, you must think, how long is it going to be?
What?
The show Scriptless.
Well, it's supposed to be 30 minutes, but the first episode we did was 23 minutes. It's tough, But the other thing, I was talking to my cinematographer, Louis Simons, and he was saying things like, he said that maybe you could do you could combine some of them because some of the story, because it's a soap opera, you could, we could still have each individual episode, but maybe we make a 45-minute miniseries. In other words, because it's a continuation, maybe the logical end doesn't have to be the end that I say it is. Maybe we can continue it.
That's what I mean.
I'm talking about each individual episode. But right now, we're in the process of getting someone else to help with the editing. So I'm meeting with him tomorrow. And if that happens, I can't wait to see the new episodes. I'm dying. My cast is dying to see it. I'm sure LMC TV wants it to be coming out too. So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
All right. But in your mind right now,
yes.
How many more episodes?
I don't know, Pop. I have no answer.
That's what you said that before.
I have no
I wanted
idea.
to make sure that I asked that question because we don't know.
Well, the thing is, I think the show itself is coming to a climax soon because you're the person, you're the puppet master in the show. And that's the funny part, You're the one pulling the strings on the show. And the strings you're pulling have a direct result on people's lives on the show. You're the characters.
Definitely, I know that.
And and so and people trust you because you're the old wise man of the neighborhood. But meanwhile, you're playing one guy against the other, and it's a dirty business. But we're introducing a new character in the next episode, and it's going to be a policeman. But I think the policeman's going to be on your payroll. So it should be interesting. I haven't decided exactly what we're going to do with it, but I believe he's going to be a crooked cop.
And look, we'll try it.
Yeah.
If it succeeds, fine. If it doesn't succeed, it's a possibility.
Thank you, Godfather.
All right, look. Only why the Godfather? Because it's 99 years
That's
old.
it. That's it.
And that's
And
all.
that's it. Like you're playing the father. I mean, not the father. You're playing the friend of the old gangsters. The old gangsters of the old neighborhood.
Because the son is in the movie.
Right. Both sons. There's two sons.
Both sons. And he was one of my best friends or
Right,
something.
that's it.
And now I'm the only one left.
That's it.
And maybe
And you
that's,
still have your connections,
and,
supposedly.
that's
and all
right,
this.
supposedly,
It's
that's
interesting.
right.
It's an interesting concept, and I'm enjoying it. You know.
If you're enjoying it, you can imagine how much.
And you know, the other thing is, I know the other actors are enjoying it, and to me it's good. And but really, the focus, and I continue saying it, is to make sure that you're having a good time, because I'm going to continue doing it, but I want to make sure that you're involved in every episode. You know.
What do you mean? I hope to be continuing it with you. Why not? Look, again, as I say, what's the big deal of that one day?
Right.
Oh, 3:25:15. Because the next day,
It'll be 3:26.
It's 3:26:15.
Right. And we use your. It's great to use your apartment for the locations. You don't, and you can sit down and shoot because and then the acting is all within your face, and that's it, and that's it.
It still doesn't. I'll say it again, and I'll say it 10 years from now.
Right.
It's only a day.
That's it.
One day, a day, 3:25:15.
But also, we usually shoot most of the episodes in a day too. So that's it. So there's not much stress and strain on a show. The other thing is, I mean, some people do, with scripted shows, they'll rehearse 20 hours, for a scene. Us, I tell you what we're going to do. And then if it doesn't look good, we just shoot it again, so it's...
I know, but in your mind, you know how long that scene should be.
And I also know if it looks real or not, if it looks like it's connected.
Alan, I want to be, if it looks real, again, I don't know those expressions, because even though it's acting, it's real life.
But you know what? There's real life, and then there's the harsh realities of life, Pop. And you know what one of the harsh realities of life is?
Yes, I know what the harsh reality is.
That's a wrap. Good night, folks.
Smile, come here, let's talk for